Let's talk about train stations. Now, I've spent a lot of time playing a little game called Cities Skylines, and that game usually starts you with a highway connection, and then you have to build your little town coming right off the highway, and historically it makes no sense. There's not really precedent for this way of developing a city. However, in the real world, there's an abundance of examples of railway towns that sprung up due to a local rail connection. Now, this might be a junction where two rail lines meet, or it might just be the space in between two other cities that are connected by rail, but there's plenty of precedent for railway towns in the world. For a long time, I didn't think that the railway start was actually possible in Cities Skylines. Railway start meaning starting with a train station placed in the map editor, but I had never tried it. Proof of concept, though, a player named Eggsy developed a map for City Planner Plays called Philly Island. Philly Island taught me a few things. It's a very unique looking map, but what it really showed me is that you can start a build without a highway connection. That was something I didn't know if it was mechanically possible in City Skylines or not. This proved to me that you don't need a highway coming through the city. It also showed me that within the map editor, it's possible to place the cargo harbor and the passenger harbor using Find It. Now, this is important because if we want to do a train station start, we have to have a way to start with a train station, seems obvious, and you totally, absolutely can. Some of you may remember my Little River video from a few months ago. New way to play, less is more in City Skylines, all about reducing the highways. Overwhelmingly, people said they wished they could start from a train station instead of a highway. That knowledge was really the catalyst that led me to want to develop this map. I've been looking up the pronunciation all morning to try to remember it. Schwyz Junction. Excuse my butchering of it. But Schwyz Junction is a minimalist highway map that starts you with a cargo station and a passenger station, and it actually works. And here is the map. It's all based on Canador's map, Schwyz Alpine Valley. So I essentially did the same thing that we did with Little River, which is reducing the highways. So you'll notice that the highway system is just this two-lane road, as it's called, the National Road from the Mass Transit Pack in City Skylines. Downscaled an interchange, so the highway network is all congruent in that way, but you'll notice there's no actual connection to the starting area. The only way to get Sims in and out of the city is through these train stations. And of course, we need passenger station to get individuals and families to move in, and we need a cargo station to receive cargo, otherwise the early city won't function. Of course, you'll have to supply power and water to these buildings, but the beauty is they don't actually cost anything, so your budget is not going to be influenced. You'll see right now $0. I haven't added or removed anything. These are fully functional, they're in line. You may choose to bypass them at some point, but really the two tracks built into it is kind of its own bypass in terms of realism. Look at that train, way too long for the station. Quirks of doing it this way. Not everything works perfectly. You'll notice that you cannot click the stations. I'm clicking, maybe you can even hear it, I'm clicking. You cannot click on the stations. You can. The bulldozer does recognize them, and you will get money back if you delete it, though I don't recommend deleting this until you're able to replace it with either a different train station or even the same train station so that you can change the functionality of it if you want. But right out of the box, the game isn't really designed for this, so you cannot click on these buildings. That's pretty much it for quirks as far as I know. I wanted to have the highway within arm's reach, so the city may have been bypassed at some point. You can expand the highway, you can make it smaller, you can get rid of it. Like, whatever you want to do with that is fine. Or you can connect to it. You could make a little interchange here and have highway access to your city if you want. Or, as I said, you can remove it entirely. It's whatever you want. But yeah, this is totally functional. You've got water in the starting area. The highway winds through this alpine river valley Really, really nice. The train goes off into the distance. The highway comes in 3 different directions. Your city could grow down this way if you want, into this area towards what appears to be maybe another river or some sort of inlet from the ocean, I suppose. But yeah, I'm happy with the result. Canador makes beautiful maps, so all credit to Canador in terms of designing the geography. I've just modified the starting tile in the highway. His map is linked in the workshop asset item as well, so feel free if you want larger highways and no train start. This is still a very good map to use regardless. Let's talk about pocket cars for just a moment. You and I both know that once you connect some roads to the train station, or really the roads could come off any of this, once you connect roads, the Sims are going to try to get to their houses that are now zoned, and they're going to get off the train, and they're all going to spawn cars, and you're going to have 1,000 cars rolling into your city. I don't have a way to remove all of the cars, but something you can do to mitigate the magic pocket car spawn fest that usually happens at train stations is go to your traffic manager settings. If you have the traffic manager mod installed, go to, I want to say policies. No. Go to gameplay, parking AI. Turn on realistic parking. That will at least stop vehicles from spawning at the train station. It won't stop all vehicles from spawning. Like, they'll still produce cars somehow. You can chalk it up to maybe the cars were shipped in by cargo train. I don't really have an explanation for that. But if you turn this on, it mitigates the traffic coming out of the station when inevitably 200 Sims depart their train and they all somehow magically have cars. So turn that on. That's a good move. A lot of you may also be wondering why I opted to have an at-grade crossing here. This is a small town, presumably. This is just a rail connection along the way between 2 major cities. How would they have money for a bridge to bridge the two, is the question. I do know that the stations are quite overdeveloped for a small town or a small village, but bear with me. This is the vanilla cargo station, so built into the game. This is the vanilla passenger station. I don't have a way to downscale those without forcing you to download an asset to download the map, and I don't want to do that. I wanted this to be accessible to everyone. But with that, you can build your own bridge if you want to. If you want to build a bridge over this or sink the railway, things like that, that will be up to the player. I didn't want to force anyone to download extra assets. I didn't want to force anyone into an exaggerated start more than would be supported in vanilla. So I thought this was a good compromise overall. Now, with all of that explained, I'd like to encourage you to also make your own train station start if you want. So you can open up the map editor and you can place a train station using Find It. Find It is the mod where you can search anything in the game and just plop it down. But keep in mind that buildings are not designed to be used in the map editor. So once you've placed your train station, do not move it using Move It. Don't move it around, don't do anything to it. You really have to place it in the correct place to begin with, so make sure to measure out where you want the station to go using a road, and then place the train station on the road, and don't move it around, because it'll break it. It's weird. Assets kind of fall apart in the map editor. So as long as you're careful about that, and you place the train station once and never touch it again, it will work just fine. And of course, all of the aforementioned quirks apply to it as well. You won't be able to click it, but that's okay. You can replace it later in game. The point is, now you can start with a train station and build a semi-realistic railway city with as much or as little highway as you prefer. Everyone, thank you for hanging out. This concept was very highly requested for a very long time, so thank you for your patience, and thank you for checking out the map. I hope you enjoy playing on it. Everyone, feel free to subscribe here. I try to make a couple videos a week. Also, feel free to come by for a stream here on YouTube. I stream here twice a week. We're playing Cities Skylines, and a game recently came out called Manor Lords, so I'm probably going to be checking that out as well. That's all I've got for today. Everyone, thank you for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.
Yeah.